and welcome students. Good morning. Today let's study the poem The Inchcape Rock. The Inchcape Rock is a ballad written by Robert Southey. Robert Southey was born on 12th August 1774 at Bristol in England. He was educated at Westminster School and Balliol College, Oxford. He was Poet Laureate of England from 1813 to 1843. His short poems like The Scholar, Bishop Hatto, The Inchcape Rock are very popular. Southey was inspired by the legendary story of a pirate who removed the bell from the Inchcape Rock installed by the abbot of Aberbrothock. The Inchcape Rock is a sandstone reef nearly about 18 kilometers near the coast of Scotland. The abbot of Aberbrothock had kindly placed the bell on the Inchcape Rock to give warning to the sailors and save their lives. So many sailors blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock. But a wicked pirate, Sir Ralph the Rover, had removed the bell from the Inchcape Rock out of jealousy and paid the price for his evil deeds. The present poem is a ballad. It contains 17 stanzas. It is a long narrative poem as a ballad should be. So now let's study the stanza-wise explanation of the poem. No stir in the air, no stir in the sea. The ship was as still as she could be. Her sails from heaven received no motion. Her keel was steady in the ocean. The first stanza describes the calmness of the sea. The air, the sea, the ship, all were still. The sails of the ship were getting no motion from the wind. Its keel was steady in the ocean. Without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock. So little they rose, so little they fell, they did not move the Inchcape bell. In the second stanza, the poet describes the mild sea waves. The waves were rising and falling so little that they did not make noise or any sound. The waves were gently flowing over the Inchcape Rock without moving or ringing the bell. The abbot of Aberbrothock had placed that bell on the Inchcape Rock on a buoy. In the storm it floated and swung, and over the waves its warning rung. The third stanza is about the bell. The abbot of Aberbrothock had installed the bell on the Inchcape Rock. During the storm, it floated on the buoy and rang wildly. The bell swung due to high tides, which gave alert to the sailors. When the rock was held by the surge's swell, the mariners heard the warning bell, and then they knew the perilous rock and blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock. In this stanza, the poet tells us how the bell guided the sailors in bad weather. The sailors could not see the rock as it stayed hidden under the high waves during the storm, but they could hear the ringing bell and move away from the dangerous rock. In this way, because of the ringing of bell, so many sailors saved their life. So they blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock for placing bell on the Inchcape Rock. The sun in heaven was shining gay. All things were joyful on that day. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled round, and there was joyance in their sound. In the fifth stanza, the poet describes the cheerful atmosphere on a particular bright day. Everything looked joyful. The seabirds were whirling over the sea and twittering with joy. The buoy of the Inchcape Bell was seen, the darker speck on the ocean green. Sir Ralph the Rover walked his deck and he fixed his eye on the darker speck. In this stanza, Sir Ralph the Rover is introduced for the first time. On that fine day, the buoy on the Inchcape Rock was clearly visible. It was clearly visible as it was blackish spot in the green ocean. Sir Ralph the Rover, the sea pirate, went to the deck of his vessel and gazed at the dark spot of a buoy. He felt the cheering power of spring. It made him whistle, it made him sing. His heart was mirthful to excess, but the rover's mirth was wickedness. The seventh stanza deals with Sir Ralph the Rover's feelings and thoughts. He was delighted by the cheerful atmosphere of spring. He was whistling and singing in joy. He was actually very happy. He was overjoyed, but no one knew that a sinful thought in his mind was behind this happiness. He was wicked. His eye was on the Inchcape float. Quoth he, "My men, put out the boat and row me to the Inchcape Rock, and I shall plug the abbot of Abribrodock." In this stanza, the Ralph himself speaks and reveals his desire. His eyes were fixed on the floating buoy on the Inchcape Rock. Sir Ralph the Rover, the sea pirate, ordered his crew to take the boat to the Inchcape Rock. He revealed that he will plug, that is, he will destroy the good work of the abbot of Abribrodock. The boat is lowered, the boatmen row, and to the Inchcape Rock they go. Sir Ralph bent over from the boat and he cut the bell from the Inchcape float. The ninth stanza describes that rover's men took the boat to the Inchcape Rock. There, Sir Ralph the Rover bent over the boat and cut the bell from the Inchcape Rock. Down sunk the bell with a gurgling sound. The bubbles rose and burst around. Quoth Sir Ralph, "The next who comes to the rock won't bless the abbot of Abribrodock." The present stanza describes how the bell sank down, making the bubbling sound. Bubbles rose and burst around. Sir Ralph the Rover was happy to think that the bell would save no more ships and sailors, and they would no longer bless the abbot of Abribrodock. Sir Ralph the Rover sailed away. He scoured the seas for many a day, and now, grown rich with plundered store, he stores his course for Scotland's shore. The present stanza describes activities of Sir Ralph the Rover. After cutting the bell from Inchcape Rock, Sir Ralph sailed away from the rock. Thereafter, he had looted many ships and became a rich person with his looted treasure. He is sailing again towards the Scotland shore. So thick a haze overspreads the sky, they cannot see the sun on high. The wind hath blown a gale all day, at evening it had died away. The present stanza describes the gloomy atmosphere on the day the Sir Ralph the Rover is sailing to Scotland. The sun is hidden behind the thick fog. Strong winds were blowing all the day, but in the evening it has stopped blowing. On the deck, the rover takes his stand. So dark it is they see no land. Quoth Sir Ralph, "It will be lighter soon, for there is the dawn of the rising moon." Sir Ralph The rover is now on the deck of his ship. They can't see land as it is very dark. The atmosphere is still gloomy. Sir Ralph the rover assures that the moon will appear soon, and so there will be light and they can see the land. "Cast here," said one, "the breakers roar, for methinks we should be near the shore. Now, where we are, I cannot tell, but I wish I could hear the Inchcape bell." In this stanza, one of the robbers accompanying Sir Ralph the rover says that he listens the roaring sound of the waves breaking against something. So he hopes that they should be near the seashore. He also regrets that the Inchcape bell is no more, as it could guide them in this situation. They hear no sound, the swell is strong, though the wind hath fallen, they drift along, till the vessel strikes with a shivering shock. O Christ, it is the Inchcape rock. The robbers on the ship wished to listen the sound of bell, but there was no sound. The tides were strong. Sir Ralph the rover and other robbers on the ship are drifting along the ship. Suddenly the vessel gets a jerking. They all realize that the vessel has hit the Inchcape rock. Sir Ralph the rover tore his hair. He cursed himself in his despair. The waves rush in every side. The ship is sinking beneath the tide. Sir Ralph the rover pulls his hair in frustration. He curses himself for his evil deeds. Meanwhile, the water fills in every corner of the vessel and it starts sinking in the sea. But even in his dying fear, one dreadful sound could the rover hear. The sound as if with the Inchcape bell the devil below was ringing his knell. Sir Ralph the rover listens a sound of the Inchcape bell. It was actually his death knell that the devil was ringing beneath the water. Thus, Sir Ralph the rover gets punishment for his sinful deeds. Today, we have studied the poem The Inchcape Rock, written by Robert Southey. In this poem, we are acquainted with two personalities. The abbot of Aberbrothock was a good person. He did good deeds in his life and was blessed in his life. On the other hand, Sir Ralph the rover, a sea pirate, was a wicked person. He had done evil deeds in his life and paid the price for his evil deeds. The poem gives us a message that life is an echo. As you sow, so shall you reap. If you give good things to the others, you will be rewarded. But if you do evil deeds in your life, you will meet the due punishment. This is the law of nature.